Well, son, we owe $5,000 to the government. So sometime between now and 10 a.m. on Thursday, I've got to come up with a small fortune. Well, let's see what we got here. Desperate woman needs human hair for wig. Will pay any price. Red preferred.
Let's rock.
Thanks, Dad.
Can I get a whooping?
Whoa,
No Man presents, live from the nudie bar, the Married with Children podcast. And here are your hosts, Dan, Jamie, and Al. What's up, guys? This is the Married with Children podcast, the show that the birds use as a toilet, but just hose us down and we're as good as new. My name is Al, and I'm sitting here with my co-host, Jamie. Oh, split end.
Ow! I passed math today, French too, and I don't even take that.
Nice.
And I'm Dan Chase, and I believe Steve didn't quit the pet store. He was fired. Justice for Bosco.
Wow, the Bosco saga continues. I think Bosco is going to be like our Harambe, right?
I'm never going to let it go.
Poor Bosco.
Poor Bosco, indeed. You savage, Steve.
All right, guys. Tonight we are reviewing A Taxing Problem, Season 4, Episode 14. Faced with an IRS audit, Al cooks up a harebrained scheme to earn some extra money, but Peg's not going to like it.
Nope, not one bit.
Original air date, January 14th, 1990. Director Jerry Cohen. Writers Paul Diamond and Ron Levitt. This starts off with a mathematical problem.
Let's see. Farmer Brown has 50 potatoes and 6 children. If half of the potatoes are to be divided among 1/3 of the children, how many potatoes do each of the remaining children get? Oh, God.
It's a trick question because 25 potatoes can't be divided among 2 children evenly, and even if divided unevenly, there's no way to determine how many each of the remaining children would get.
Exactly.
I've gone cross-eyed.
I know. Short skirt for Math Monday.
Now, Jamie, how many times did you have to dress up the next day to pass a test?
You know, I never did because I'm smart.
Yeah, Jamie's wicked smart, dude.
You're smart?
I just did it because I wanted to.
She did it like Yvette to steal her friend's boyfriend.
Right.
But I did not use a horrible French accent while I did it.
Do the American boys like this? Okay, so Buck is constipated. And he's supposed to be eating laxative.
How'd it go?
He's still constipated. If it was any tighter, you could wear him to the prom.
You mean to tell me he didn't react at all to the picture of you naked? Because just the thought of it would work for me. Well, I guess we have to give him his pill.
Yeah, but he'll spit it out if we don't wrap it in something that tastes good.
Well, let's see what we've got.
Oh, that's how we had to feed my dog all the time. Feed him his pills. You got to throw it. You got to throw it in a little snackaroonie.
Yeah, I used to give my dog Percocets that way. Because my
Really?
dog wanted to get high with me, yeah.
Wow.
I put Brian's medicine in pieces of cheese.
Alex, can you wrap a Percocet up in cheese for me?
Yeah, I'll give you a nice green fuzzy one.
Hold on, I got to go to the bathroom.
What we get here, though, is the first appearance of Mom's mystery meat.
Oh, okay.
Somebody eats that one day. Actually, a group of guys eat Peg's mystery meat in the fridge that's wrapped in tinfoil.
And it's moving.
Mom said never to touch that.
You know, one thing you don't know right now, but it's actually hot also. while it's in the fridge. So they find a piece of cheese from a mouse trap, and the mouse didn't eat it because, that guy already got rid of the mouse. And they don't have a mouse to eat that cheese. Al comes downstairs, pops it in his mouth. Ugh.
Oh.
Yummy fuzzy cheese.
Hey, I love waking up after your mother's already up and out. Scent of her perfume still in the air. $50 missing from my wallet. Just like I was single. Hey, breakfast cheese. Not bad. I have a feeling it's going to be a big day for Daddy today.
The biggest day.
Humongous.
Who could that be?
Well, since Mom and Kelly's boyfriends have their own keys, it's probably the mailman.
Bundy, I just want you to know I'm retired after 20 years of faithful service.
Probably one of my favorite moments of the episode.
It really was.
He's so sincere. He's just so proud of his mailman gig, and he's so close to retire.
It's so true to life, too, because it seems like the mailman would think that we'd all care, but does anybody really even care or know who delivers their mail?
Our mail person changes every second, and consequently, our mail gets delivered to various houses around the neighborhood.
Right. But, Jamie, I'm glad you brought that up, though, because this guy says that he's been his faithful mailman for 20 years, right? Was that it? Okay, so what does that tell us? Is this the infamous mailman? Oh, exactly.
That's who's getting Donnelly's wife?
It's not different mailman. He's been his faithful mailman for 20 years. It's got to be him.
Dude, you are...
Good connection.
He was having a life. Mm-hmm.
I just thought about when I saw him, he reminded me of Captain Kangaroo.
And and that means that he could be the little girl from
Yeah, he's the Girl Scout Cookie's dad, because she has his eyes, and he's also Nestor's dad, maybe.
Yep. Somebody put the mailman up against the little girl and see if there's any resemblance.
Wow. I guess those kids won't be getting a fresh new mommy. Because he's retiring and there's nothing. The affair is over. What's Al going to use for material now?
Or he's just gonna he's gonna double down on it because he's got plenty of time now because he's retired.
Yeah,
he's delivering something more than the mail.
He doesn't have to wait till he gets to that route to do that anymore. Wow. Well, that guy's name is A.J. Freeman. He actually retired from acting in 1991, a year after this. He was on the A-Team, Quantum Leap, and Time Stalkers, as well as various other television and movie gigs. So, Al gets his tax return. It was so, messed up what he did to Kelly, telling her to go away and then come back and just using her nail to open up the letter. And then it's like, okay, now go. Oh, my God.
Audited. Hey, I'm going to be audited.
Very nice. I just spent 3 hours in a beauty parlor, and all you can say is, I'm being audited. Why do I bother?
What's audited?
Well, basically, it's where they take everything you own and throw you in jail.
But just Dad, right?
Yeah.
Then to hell with it.
Peg, get our tax records, because I'm suing the moron that bungled our taxes.
Oh, well, gee, that would be me. Oh, now don't get that look on your face. It's a good thing I did the taxes. You see, I had this idea. If claiming 2 children as dependents gets you $200, imagine what 23 kids would be worth.
The gas chamber.
Dipped on his car.
I want it. I always said I could have
No,
it.
it's mine.
Kids, don't fight. There'll be cars for the both of you, because mommies will be up for grabs, because mommy will be up the river with me. See? It was a joint return.
Now, why would Peg even be on? How does there a joint tax return. Well, is that from her little stint when she worked at Burger Trek for like 3 weeks? I guess you got to file that, so they filed that together, huh?
Oh, yeah. Here's my question. Why does he owe the government money? If he was initially awaiting a tax return, he doesn't make a whole lot of money. I'm sure he probably was getting a tax return of some kind, and he was, merely waiting for it. If he hasn't received it yet, that means the government hasn't sent him any money, so it's not like he took money that he then has to pay back.
Right.
Why exactly does he have to pay them $5,000?
You always know what you're getting once you're done filing. It's not like a surprise in the mail.
Well, she clearly didn't tell him one way or the other because he would have known that she claimed 23 children.
Yeah, I guess that's for him to owe $5,000, I don't understand that. He would have filled out a fraudulent tax return. That's all.
Yeah, like he still have to answer for that or whatever, but he wouldn't owe them any money,
right?
Because they haven't paid him any money. So I love how in TV it's always round numbers too.
Yeah,
like especially on this show, it's always $5,000, $50,000, $10,000.
Now, do you guys like it when Kelly and Bud bond over their possible double whammy jailed parents? Like they high five each other.
But yeah, it's just funny. We're gonna be the coolest kids in school.
I like that.
Well, they do live in Chicago.
They're finally getting along. So yeah, Al owes $5,000 to the government, which is $10,000 today.
Yes.
So that's like us owing $10,000. Wow, man. Because, and also the other thing that don't make sense about this is that he has like a certain amount of time to pay it, and it's not a lot of time at all, which would never happen.
Right.
It would be months to a year, minimally.
Yeah, they need to do that for this episode to have a ticking clock, so to speak.
Yeah, we do have to move this along. Like, they're not going to flash forward a year, and Al's going to be like, well, I still didn't do anything.
Right. Another Kenneth episode.
Well, I'm assuming he has, that's the scheduled time for his audit, because he says specifically by 10 a.m. on Thursday. So apparently he's scheduled to be audited at that time. I guess he figures if he takes the money with him, then no harm, no foul.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Well, son, we owe $5,000 to the government. So sometime between now and 10 a.m. on Thursday, I've got to come up with a small fortune. Well, let's see what we got here. Free money for fools? Nope, nothing here. Here's something. Store toxic waste at home. You wouldn't mind growing a second head for Daddy, would you, son?
I don't know, Dad. Everything in my closet's sort of built around one head.
Well, we'll just circle this as a maybe. Desperate woman needs human hair for wig. Will pay any price. Red preferred.
Al, honey, great news. Ethos wasn't there, but Aunt Innie said if you get her a blueprint of the courthouse, he'll pull his half-ton under the window, and you're just a manure ride away from freedom. What are you two looking at?
Your lovely red hair.
Oh, Al, you noticed. I didn't think you cared.
Oh, but I do.
Oh, come on, Buck. Take your pill. I put it in this nice bonbon.
And Al sees that and knocks it back after he just got out of the toilet.
Yeah, he clearly learned from that.
I think when he said his stomach was upset, maybe the cheese will settle it. Since when does he just walk up to a table and just anything that's edible, he just grabs it, eats it real quick?
I guess in that house you have
Right.
to.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. But then again, he should know better if nobody else is going for it.
That's what I was thinking. I would say, well, how come you're not eating that? I'd say, is something wrong with it? So Al comes downstairs and starts running a comb through Peg's hair. She thinks he's being so romantic, and as she points that out, he pulls out a tape measure and does about the worst measuring job ever. He did it just so we could see it, obviously. Right. What is he going by? Because the thing is sticking almost a foot above her head.
Right.
And, it's just so funny, but it works for the visual gag.
Hello, we're the Privets. We're here to see the hair.
Of course. Step right into our showroom. Dear, these are our good friends, the Privets. The Privets, yes. And this is my lovely wife, the
Peggy.
You have lovely hair.
Oh, I thank you.
Leo, it's perfect.
Come on, Leo, you can touch it too. Oh, it's very nice.
Isn't it, though?
Al, could I speak to you for a minute?
Excuse us for a second.
What's funnier about this? Peg not knowing why they're there, or Peg's face when the Privets are touching it and her head, she's leaning her head against Peg's head, or Miss Privet's hair?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. That might actually be a three-way tie because they're all pretty. I'd say the second one for sure.
Yeah.
I love the look on her face, too.
I love that moment. And she's like, Al? Like, it, to me, it's that whole scenario is so classic. Like, just sitcom classic in general.
Yeah.
It's very funny. But the look on her face is the best.
There's three things going on at once here, and they're all really funny. And the only one that's slightly not obvious, which I think it is how bad Miss Privet's hair is. And then we find out later that her hair looks like that because of a woodpecker. Like, what does that even mean?
I don't know. Did they remind you of like a discount Stephen Marcy?
Yeah, and slightly creepier, too.
To get into that, Marie Privet, her name is Colleen Maloney. She was on Happy Days, the movie The Ring, the horror movie, and Bachelor Party.
Who was she in The Ring, I wonder? Wow.
The lady with the bad hair. I don't know.
The lady who suffered the woodpecker incident.
Oh, that's right.
She just does that in everything she does.
That was the opening title sequence, right?
Yeah. There was a woodpecker down in the well.
7 packs.
The Leo Privet, speaking of a poor man, Stephen Marcy, he has only done this episode, and that is it. That is his only role in the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, his real name is Paul Cotis. They're funny, though. They're pretty good. Peg is wondering why they're fondling her hair, and the best part is when Al says, "Go ahead, Leo, you can touch it, too."
Yeah.
Like, why would you say that if Peg doesn't even know why they're there?
Yeah, it went right over her head. No pun intended.
What's going on here?
Well, Peg, I've got to pay the IRS, so I'm selling the lawn furniture.
How much you asking?
10,000.
Al, it cost $40 15 years ago.
So did you.
Now, 10,000 is a little steep, Bundy, but I might go to 2,000.
$2,000? Oh. You know, it's really worth the money. Why, you can just sit on it for hours, and if you hose it off, it's good as new.
5,000.
Let's try to figure this whole thing out. Because, like, we try to understand this thing where, Al was buying a car, the way he wheels and deals there. So, okay. This is like the opposite. Al says Peg's hair will cost them $10,000. So the guy says, it's a little steep. He'll pay $2,000. So he took off $8,000 on what Al said. So Peg is excited about this and says, you could sit on it, hose it off, and it'll be good as new. Just saying, yeah, you're going to really enjoy it. So then the guy goes, okay. And he volunteers to pay another $3,000 on top of the $2,000.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? When you go, oh, yeah, great. Well, here's $2,000. He goes, oh, well, then here's $5,000. Like, what the heck? Like, this guy is worse than Al.
Well,
But I guess this is funnier because, this guy's dumb.
It is funny to think of what his logic is there.
You don't mind us taking it from you?
Oh, no! Why, the dog just lies on it and the birds use it as a bathroom? I'll be glad to get rid of it.
We'll be back tomorrow with a check.
And then Al's face while she's saying these things, he's like looking at them like, she's don't pay attention to her. She's a little spaced out. Like, just look at his face when she's saying these things. He's happy that she's all for it because she doesn't know what she's talking about, but he's also kind of wincing that she sounds crazy, you know? So,
yeah, you could blow a sale like that. Who wants to pay $5,000 for hair that's been pooped in?
Right.
I'm sure there's someone out there who does, but
I guess they figure, well, we'll just watch. You know, it's funny. She'll kill me for saying this, but my sister had Bird use her hair as a toilet one time.
I did once. I was in the 5th grade. I was on the playground. Bird flew over and pooped in my hair.
Yeah, my sister too. And I think it happened to her in 1989 to 91. So it's oddly enough, it could have been any.
Did the dog lay in it too? Did you hose her off?
Was it all white?
Sorry, Jen.
And then we sold it for an extra $3,000.
Nice.
So, as we alluded to earlier, Al and Peg are celebrating their newfound money, and Peg hugs Al, and then Al goes, "Whoops, split end," and he pulls the hair out, and then he looks at her like, "Gotta watch these things," you know. And it's so funny because she still doesn't know why he cares.
Right.
But I like how
he feels we're gonna dump the kids. We'll hide from the government. We're gonna travel around the country selling lawn furniture.
Yeah. Let's just buy it for $200, sell it for $5,000. That makes sense.
It's just another example, though, of the Bundys having this opportunity to, like he's getting audited. Like, let's take the money and just literally run away. Like, they just have the worst solutions to all their problems.
Right. Well, look what they did with the extra $50,000 that Marcy gave them.
Right. Exactly. Every opportunity they have, they squander.
Right.
Talking about the lawn furniture, she says it was $40 or it was $40 15 years ago, and he says, "So were you."
Oh,
that is brutal. Peg's $80. I guess that's how the whole football team got through her.
Oh.
They were able to round up $40.
Yep, ran through her like Buck's meds through hell.
Buck should be taking whatever you're taking. Oh, man.
Bud, honey, you'll never guess what your father just sold for $5,000.
Well, sure I would. He sold your hair.
No, silly. The lawn furniture. Right, Al?
Well, we'll just discuss that when you wake up in the morning.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Oh, no.
I totally sympathize with Al, though. By the way, it's nice to see Al get his revenge, though, on Peg after all the bull that she puts him through.
Well, and this is her fault.
Yeah, it usually always is, isn't it?
We're here because of you.
Right?
Al, his stomach turns. Bud hands him a newspaper, and he runs over to the toilet. Kelly comes in the house, and she looks so hot in her good grades skirt and top. And although she dressed like that for good grades, if she walked into my classroom like that, I'd still end up giving her the D.
Can you believe him? With all the hair in his nose, ears, and on his back, and he wants mine.
It's hair envy is what it is. It's because they lose theirs and we don't, and they hate us for it.
They have no respect for our hair. They only use it to pull us up, to pull us down.
Guys only use her hair to pull her up and down and up and down. On what? I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea what that could be a reference to.
Oh, my God. Could this mean anything else?
No.
Let's think about this for a second.
I don't see how. I honestly even think that the waxing their car joke is...
Right.
She's like, use your own hair to wax your car. And I'm like, is it really their car they're waxing?
Yeah, she's polishing something. I don't know if it's a car. But
I can't believe they actually said that in this episode. I was kind of taken back. I was like, "Whoa, did that really mean that?" Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe her hair does provide a nice finish for car wax, but who knows? I don't know.
I'd like to find out.
I don't think so though. But yeah, you're right. I would. She has the morals of an alley cat, so you can't be too hard on her.
We give men too much. We give them our trust, our love, our support. We give them $5 to take us to the prom and not tell anyone they're our cousin. But they do. And then you're the laughing stock of the entire school. And he winds up in the backseat of your car with some fat slut named Roberta. And you have to take the bus home. Some prom, huh? Anyway. I say we women must draw the line at our hair. It serves a purpose. Like when you see a guy with really great buns. It's your hair that says, "Saddle up, cowboy." Rope me, brand me, break my spirit.
Oh, yeah, and I'm the alley cat.
Well, there's no reasoning with Al. If I'm going to keep my hair, I'm just going to have to stay awake until that trial. Then I'll have 20 years of peace.
Don't you worry about a thing. We'll stay up with you, won't we, Kelly?
Darn right. Our 6 eyes will beat as one.
So now they're supposed to sleep on the couch in shifts, but they all pass out together. Al comes down, and he's right about to go through and make his $5,000, pulls Peg's hair, and puts those scissors clean across it, man. Like, they had to be fake scissors because they couldn't even risk those blades just, like, kind of slicing through. Because he really put it right through her hair. They must have dulled the blades or used plastic or something. I don't know, but
yeah,
Al could not go through with it. He just felt bad, and then he looks at Kelly, and he sees this little pumpkin on the couch, and he pats her head, even though we just heard things that would. It's just sad to think that he sees her that way, but we just heard some of the nitty gritty, and it kind of makes me afraid to be a father.
Something to look forward to, I know, right? Like, no matter what you do, daughter's hair is going to get pulled in some guys.
Well,
right?
before you were a husband, you were a boyfriend.
I know. That's why I don't like it.
Keep that in mind.
I know. It's horrible.
And then imagine your own daughter. Yeah.
It's horrible. Can't believe what I've... never mind. So, the best part, Al looks at Marcy, sneers, walks away. Then he looks at her again, and he says, "You know what?" He goes, snips about a 3-inch piece of hair off the back of her head, and he makes her wear it like a mustache.
Classic.
Unbelievable. Oh, God, that's the best. We got to post a picture of that on our Facebook.
Yeah, sure.
So since Al couldn't go through with it, he's all packed for prison.
Have a nice time, Daddy.
Come on, Dad. You got 2 more days till the audit.
Why wait? I'm guilty. What's my defense? Your mother's an idiot? Besides, I deserve to be punished. I married your mother. So long, kids. Let me know who wins this year's Bud Bowl.
Come on. Now, surely you can make $5,000 in 2 days?
Thanks, son. Your love's gonna make those 20 years just fly by. Now I'm gonna need some toilet paper. 2-ply, white, a harmonica.
Lay off that thing, will you? I'm sorry, Grant. I didn't know I was bothering anybody.
Oh, and a picture of Mommy in case thoughts of escape cross my mind.
That's pretty interesting. Al always uses pictures. Like, he uses a picture of Peg's mother when he wants to stop being excited.
Well, I mean, would you rather have her in the room with you all the time as a reminder?
Right.
Exactly. So, turns out Steve quit his pet shop job.
Fired.
Fired? He's a liar, huh?
He was, yeah, I mean, listen, you know, he's got a history. He shouldn't have been working at that pet store in the first place. You know, how do we even trust Steve anymore? You know, like, can we? Can we trust Steve? So when he comes in and says that he was, he quit, like, I don't believe him. I'm with Marcy on this one. Can't believe a word he says. He says he's out looking for jobs. He's not out looking for jobs. He got fired. Justice for Bosco.
Right. And I gotta be honest with you, for someone who's wrapping up their their great stint on a show, Steve's whole reason for that he doesn't work there anymore was so boring, I just zoned out. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, what was it?
I don't know. I zoned out. It just got boring.
Something about another guy got assigned to the fish or something. I don't know.
Fish or a bird?
The guy didn't want fish. He wanted birds. And
Right.
Steve was in birds, and the bird liked him, and the guy was mad. And then I don't remember the rest of it.
Yeah, it was very kind of depressing that this is how Steve is going. Now, supposedly, this is the last episode Steve recorded for the show.
Oh, wow.
Although he's in another one. So this was supposed to be his last scene, which is even more depressing. Because I zoned out.
Yeah.
Hi, Al. What you doing?
I'm headed for prison.
Oh. Well, I got a problem. You're probably wondering why I'm not at work.
I'm looking at 20 years, Steve.
Uh-huh. I'll bet you think I was fired. But I wasn't. I quit. I'll tell you, you wouldn't believe the politics that goes on backstage at a pet shop.
They put me in with killers, Steve.
I mean, there I am putting down fresh paper under the macaw, which like me, by the way, and don't think that wasn't noticed. When Zeke decides to make a power play, he wants birds. Suddenly, fish isn't good enough for him. So he breaks bread with the owner. Next thing I know, he's got his hands on my bird. And I'm up to my patootie and guppy poo.
Steve, tell you what say I make you a nice license plate that says I'm a bore? Would that make you feel better, buddy?
No, it wouldn't, Al.
This is an interesting thing. So on IMDb, which we have been debunking since day one. So here's what they say. Look how stupid this is. Steve makes a reference that he quit his pet store job, claiming that he wants to move to Yosemite National Park. This was, in fact, the last regular episode that Steve Garrison shot before his departure from the series. I said that, which I think is true, that departure part, but he never mentions Yosemite National Park. He says he wants to be a rodeo clown.
Well, he does say something about being free.
He says an outdoorsman.
Was it him singing Born Free?
No.
You know what would make me feel better? To be the outdoorsman I was born to be. Al, I want to be a rodeo clown. You know, something with the land. Thing is, how do I tell Marcy?
Well, now, see, that is a thorny one, Steve. Let's say I give that some thought while I'm making my marriage vows in a prison chapel to a guy named Rock.
But he never mentioned Yosemite National Park. Now, he does eventually work there, that we find out later. Actually, we find out, like, pretty soon, like in 2-3 episodes, yeah. But he does not say it here at all. He never says, I want to move to there. So that's wrong. He just says he wants to be in the outdoors. All the while he's talking about being a rodeo clown, all this nonsense with the birds and the fish. He could care less that Al's going to jail. And Al's like, prison, Steve, with killers and murderers and rapists. And Steve's just like, so, I don't know. It's a little too forced for me. And like I said, I zoned out with what he was saying. I don't think that was a strong Steve moment at all.
No. And I totally agree. And that really stood out to me. I was like, what? Really? What is this? And all I could see is just a pattern with Steve. Like, okay, keeps getting fired. And, like he even says, this time I didn't get fired and stuff like that. Like, what a loser. He's always having problems here. And then all of a sudden, like, I want to be a rodeo clown. Like, okay, like that's where we're going? Like the last stop on the train here, like what? I don't know. I totally agree though. It's like it's totally forced,
Yeah, him ignoring Al's jail references is so forced.
Right. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah.
Or prison, I mean.
No, it's weird. It seems kind of empty, but I do, however, like the classic setup of this episode, in that it's all family, and then Steve and Marcy do their individual pop-ins, and
Right.
it feels very sitcom-y.
Yeah.
I really like the structure of this episode, but as far as the conversation with Steve in itself, it just doesn't seem all that interesting, and it feels kind of almost like they're betraying the character,
Right?
and that I feel like he deserved a little more than that, and even more than the next episode, which
And it makes
Is
you
it?
think that what was their intention with that? Were they purposely trying to downplay it? Like, did they not want to make it a big deal? Because like I said, I haven't seen his departure yet, obviously. But with this and it being its last scene, you would think that it would hold some more significance. But
I don't know. I guess they didn't want to make a big deal out of it. I don't know the logic there.
were things bad?
No, everybody loved them. Everybody was on good terms.
Yeah. I mean, so it wasn't like a Suzanne Summers thing from Three's Company, where, I don't know if you know this, but toward the end of her run on that show, she was not allowed to be in the actual episode with the other people. She had to do all of her lines as if she were calling them on a telephone.
I did hear that. Yeah, I remember that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was basically off the show, but she was contractually obligated. So she had to do some scenes, but they made her go home to visit her family. I mean, in the show. And the only way she was actually allowed to interact with them is that, once an episode, she would make a quick phone call to Janet or whatever and talk to them for a minute, and that would be it. That would be her.
Right.
That would be her episode appearance, because things were nasty. Things were really bad on that show with her. So it wasn't like a situation like that. It's not like they hated him and they wanted to get rid of him.
Nope. No, he just wanted to do live theater.
That just makes it sad, I mean, it kind of makes sense if they were bitter, but I mean, this is a guy who had occupied this role for several years. It was a popular role. It's not. I always liked Steve. Even back then I liked him. So I don't get it. It's weird. It's baffling.
It is. It's a sad way to wind things down with him. Then again, it was great for a while. You had the 976 shoe thing. You had the At the Zoo. All that type of stuff was cool.
Well, I guess they did have their Steve heavy episodes sort of leading up and laying the groundwork, but it just seems like there would have been a little bit more fanfare toward or I don't know, just maybe some better lines.
So yeah, better lines at least.
He's about to go out. Give him some good jokes.
Well, being literal with that, he's about to go out of Val's house, and the joke they gave him.
Okay, this is something a man's got to work out for himself. I know. I'll call my mom. She always told my dad what to do. Till he killed himself. Oh, and Al, when you're in prison, if you run into James Brown, you tell him for me there's one white dude out there who thinks he got a raw deal.
Here's how ridiculous that even is. James Brown was arrested on April 3rd, 1988 for assault, and again in May of 88 on drug and weapon charges, and again on September 24th of 88 following a high-speed car chase on Interstate 20 near Georgia-South Carolina state border.
Yep.
He was convicted of carrying an unlicensed pistol and assaulting a police officer, along with various drug-related and driving offenses. Although he was sentenced to 6 years in prison, he was eventually released on February 27th, 1991, after only serving 2 years for all that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Steve thinks he got a raw deal.
There were a lot of people that were angry, though, that he got put in prison, even though it was a mess. He was a mess.
Do you know how many times he was sent to prison for beating up women?
He was a mess, but yet there were still people who were like big fans of his who just felt like, he didn't deserve to go to prison.
If you could sing and dance, you could do anything.
Yeah.
You could have the neighborhood children sleep in your bed with you.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I know. I have to leave this guy alone. All right.
Just make sure you have pudding pops.
Yeah, that too.
Did you get me cigarettes, kids? I need lots of cigarettes. It's for my new boyfriend.
Well, Al, if he only smokes after sex, a half a pack will do ya.
Ah, that's a good one. I'm gonna miss you, Peg. Well, I guess unless you're gonna cut your hair, I'll be gone.
I guess, but if my husband's going to prison for something I did...
Would you shave your hair?
Of course I would.
Yeah?
But I'm me. I'm not her.
Right.
I also clean the house and cook. And work.
Right.
I'll see you, I guess, in a decade or two.
Bye, Dad.
Bye, Dad.
Bye. See ya.
Very nice. Very nice. No, oh, Dad, please don't go. No, oh, Al, yes, I'll cut my hair. Not even a Shane come back.
Honey, no one wants you to go to prison. But we're talking about my hair, for God's sake. Why is everybody staring at me? I'm not the only one in this family with hair. Bud, what about you?
Yeah, right. I'd be quite the lady killer as a 15-year-old bald kid with no money. Yule Bundy.
Well, don't look at me. I've got finals coming up.
Peg,
I don't want to cut my hair.
we're talking about prison, Peg. Prison.
When you watched Batman as a kid, you enjoyed the colorful heroes and villains, the text sound effects on the screen, the thrill of watching a heroic crime fighter escaping from death traps and taking down bad guys. But the show was devised to interest adults, too. What did you miss as a kid? Sexual innuendo.
The penguin's too small for me.
Closeted gay characters.
I like that cape, Batman.
Freudian death traps.
Has the giant clam really swallowed Robin?
Police incompetence.
Bruce Wayne is a millionaire playboy. Hardly a secret identity for Batman.
Whether you're a kid or an adult, there's something to like about our favorite Caped Crusader. Tim and Paul dig for the deeper meanings under the Batmania every first, third, and fifth Thursday of the month. What's the podcast's name?
To the Batpoles. To the Batpoles. To the Batpoles.
So the Privets are back, and she's rubbing the hair that Al sold them up against her cheeks. It appears to be red hair. It's in a bag.
Oh, Leo, it's beautiful. With this in my head, I can walk proud again and forget all about that woodpecker incident.
What a day, huh? Well, that's 5,000. Pleasure doing business with you, Bundy.
Anytime, Leo. Listen, how's the wife fixed for fingernails? Well, maybe now is not the time. Wear it in good health, Marie.
Thank you.
Hey, if you ever change your mind about that lawn furniture, no. He's gone.
Oh, we did it. $5,000. Oh, Al, that's more than we'd make if you had an education.
Surprise, beneath the towel that is on Peg's head during this scene, Peg still has all her hair. At this point, what were you guys thinking? When the towel was wrapped around her hair, and they did make that hair in the bag look reddish, what was going through your mind?
That she had all of her hair and they used Buck's hair.
No, you did not think that. Do not lie.
Yeah, no, I absolutely thought that's exactly what they did.
Really?
Yep. I swear to God. And I was already thinking in my mind, if that's what they did, that's a ridiculous plan, because who's going to believe? Because Buck's hair is like, half an inch long.
Right. Yeah.
Like how do they expect to get away with that? But I was like, but this is I bet that's what they did. Because I couldn't remember. I don't even know if I've ever seen this episode before. My memory on these, because this is like 30 years ago. So
That's
my
not that
memories,
long ago. You should have known. So go ahead.
like some of these I've seen since then, and some of them I haven't. This is one I have no memory of, even from original run. So it was like, if that's their plan, how do they expect to get away with that? Surely they don't expect to get away with that. There must be a different plan. No, that's the plan. I mean, it just, and yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Now, Dan, what were you thinking at this point?
Oh, no, I knew that was from the dog. I knew it was from the dog.
What? How do you guys know? What does that mean?
Because it's the only logical way to go. It is the only thing that makes sense for this show.
As soon as she entered, I knew that they were going to pull a fast one and shave it off Buck.
Really?
Yep.
Of course.
Yep.
So I guess I shouldn't bother asking what you thought when you saw Buck's bald ass.
Well, I was just waiting for it. I wanted to see where
they took it.
Yeah, where they took it. Yeah, and that was a good little reveal. So I thought it was great. I was like, oh, yep, there it is.
I was honestly expecting him to be, I thought they were going to have shaved him from the neck all the way back.
Right.
Because that little patch they took, who's that going to fool? I'm not that any of it would fool anyone, but I really was expecting him to be like when you take your dog to the groomer in the summer and they take all the hair off except for the head.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be that, and that would be really funny, you know, but they didn't.
Wow. Well, it turns out the big reveal is that Miss Privet will be wearing Buck's dyed ass hair on her head. So at least they went through the trouble of dyeing it red.
Oh, man, when she takes a shower, she's going to smell like wet dog.
Oh, God.
Pretty good for a guy stupid enough to marry you, huh? Well, now I'll go pay my taxes, and then the only prison I'll be in is the one I created for myself.
Honey, before you go, I think you better walk Buck over by Marcy's roses. He's still constipated.
All right. He should be eating what I've been eating. Worthless flea bag.
No Ma'am will be right back to wrap up this week's review. Be sure to join their Facebook group page for all the podcast news and updates. Be sure to subscribe to them on the Apple Podcast app, and please leave a review telling them what you think of the show. To subscribe to their YouTube channel, just go to channels and search up Married with Children podcast. Now they're available on the TV Time app. Go to your app store and type in TV Time. Join their Patreon and support your favorite podcast with a small monthly donation. You can email them at marriedwchildrenpodcast@gmail.com.
How many green fuzzy pieces of cheese wrapped over a laxative are you eating for this episode, Jamie?
Well, when I came into this, I was thinking I was going to eat 5, but then the more we talked about it, and I realized that Steve's section kind of fell a little flat. That kind of disappointed me some now that I was thinking about it. But I did really have fun with this episode. I love the fact that it's just a classic one-off sitcom. These are the episodes that I like, when it's just one crazy situation. It's solved by the end of the episode. Just, your basic sitcom setup. And I always like it when they do this on this show. And I always have fun with it. And this is, the hijinks of him trying to get to her hair while she's sleeping. And, it's great. So you know what? Oh, I'm going to stick with 5. I really did enjoy this episode, so I'm going to have 5.
Wow, nice. All right, Dan, how many green fuzzy pieces of cheese are you eating?
So I didn't love it as much as you guys. I was gonna give it 3.5 actually. I did like a lot of parts of it, but and also too, isn't this kind of payback for Peg? Didn't she cut off that girl's hair a bunch of episodes back? You know?
Oh yeah, that's right.
You know, so it's nice to see Peg kind of getting hers in this episode, especially from Al. I like that aspect of it, kind of.
Except she didn't.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So I did like a lot of aspects of this episode, but I didn't love it. Unfortunately, I thought it was really good though. Like you said, the Steve stuff really threw me off, and I think that's the main thing that's really taking it down. I know it probably shouldn't, but I can't get that out of my head, especially knowing that he's departing. It's just that whole thing was just very weak all around, and there were no real good punchlines, and it was just bleh. So yeah, 3.5. I was teetering between 3.5 and a 4, but I gotta go 3.5. Justice for Bosco.
Wait, would you guys be do you guys wish Al did cut Peg's hair?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. I no matter what they had to do, if they had to give her a bald cap and act like her hair was shorter for a while and let it grow an inch every episode just as a goof, you know, just have it 1 inch longer every episode until it got back to normal, I wouldn't even care.
I mean, they wouldn't even have to do that. In sitcoms, you can erase what happened the week before and just go on like everything's normal the next
but
week.
we would have a major problem with that if she came back next week with normal hair.
I mean, you could. I wouldn't, though, because it's a sitcom. So it's like a cartoon. You know, you just...
Right.
I give them passes for things like that just because it's funny. So, I don't know. They could have done that. I think it would have been funnier if they actually had, or maybe even endearing if she had offered to do it.
I think it would have been acceptable if they did it at the end of a season and then she came back and it was normal again. You know? Like, if that happened, I could swallow it better.
I'm ticked off that Cersei's hair hasn't grown back in Game of Thrones still, so, you know, like, come on with it.
I give this episode a 4.5 out of 5. I really liked it. The only reason that it gets a 0.5 is because of Steve. That was just so stupid to me that I want to hold them accountable for that. It doesn't make me not love this episode, so I guess I'm not really rating this properly, because 5 out of 5 means you love it, 4 out of 5 means you really liked it.
Well, I mean, you're close to loving it.
Yeah, I am close to loving it. That's probably, so I am accurate. Because it throws me for such a weird, and I don't like that Steve and Marcy weren't together either this episode.
Right. Yeah, that was off.
Yeah, it has obviously happened before, but I think at this period of time and everything that's going on, I feel like they should have been together.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give us that dynamic for one last time or two last times, you know, whatever.
Yep.
So, and I don't think they're together in the next episode, oddly enough, I believe.
Hmm.
But, by the way, I forgot to mention, this episode title, A Taxing Problem, that's the title of a Japanese movie. Don't really know what it's about. Maybe it's about a guy who shaves a dog's ass hair. Just like everything just keeps being the same, like that lady.
He shaves it with a katana blade.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I give this. It was a great premise. Al getting instead of getting money from the tax, he gets audited. Of course, Peg is the reason. The whole thing of him going to jail and nobody caring, that always bothered me. Actually, I always felt like they should band together at times like this, and like, how could you really not care that Al's going to jail? That always, something about this episode always struck me. It really like bothered me that nobody cared. I'm looking like, you guys have to care, right? I mean, it's hard for me to separate the idea that they know it's a sitcom, but this is supposed to be real though in a way, right?
Do you think that if he actually did go to jail, that they would finally band together and, you know, like say if it was like a money issue?
That's what I was going to say. It would only be a money issue. They say, we got to get Dad out so we get some more money in the house.
And that's the whole episode.
Yeah, then they would get him just so he could go back to the shoe store.
Yeah, and I just think that the threat of him actually going to jail, like, they'll just laugh about it until it actually happens, and then they'll finally do something about it.
So yeah, I think everything was strong. Everything was great. Funny premise. The woodpecker as explanation for her hair. That's a little weak. I think they could have tried harder with that explanation, maybe.
Agreed.
I kind of like that it's off the wall.
Yeah, if it attacked her and pecked her head out, right? I guess.
Totally random.
Right. Yeah. It's a very random explanation for why her hair looks like that. So, guys, tune in next week as we review one of the iconic classics, Rock and Roll Girl. Kelly's talents led her the lead in a sexy music video, becoming a rock star to bring home the bacon. That doesn't make sense. Okay. Goodbye.